Rough Edge FM. Irritatingly irresistible internet radio at roughedgefm.com.
There's so much going on in your community that even in this age of information, it's tough to keep up. This show will help. It's all about what's new, what's happening, and what's out there. So if you're ready, sit back and listen up, Santa Paula.
Because I am doing it my way.
Wow, you are so cool today.
I am, aren't I?
Yeah.
It's because when you're as cool as I am, the sun shines on you 24 hours a day.
Oh, I should have brought my shades in too.
Do you have shades?
Yeah.
Nice.
In the car, but I didn't know it was Bring Your Shades Day.
Oh, yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a little accident with my grandson.
Mhm.
I don't know. Say it.
Remember which eye it is? There you go.
Yeah, it's this
Okay.
eye, but
All right.
it's like it's like, wait a minute, I'm pointing to my wrong eye.
Okay.
But he scratched my eye, so it's all blood vessels, and so it hurts.
What did you do to him?
What did I do
Did
to
he
him?
like take a punch at you or something? Or
I
what?
don't know. You know, it was funny because Nikki was the one who called attention to it. She's like, Jim, what did you do to your eye? It's all red and bloodshot. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it feels like there's something in my eye.
Yeah.
So I didn't even really catch it that he,
Just
when he was
picked
kind of
him
just
up
grabbing
or-
at my
yeah.
face.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I besides, you know what? It's about time I start being who I am, and that's cool.
You're up in your game.
I'm cool.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
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 All right.
So we're getting half your face.
Well, I have half my face. Well, where's the camera?
There you go.
Okay.
All right.
Well, you moved the camera on me.
I must have moved it,
Yeah.
or I didn't move it.
I was in my usual spot.
You
but-
were.
Yeah.
I know.
But apparently the camera was.
It's all me.
Oh.
It's my fault.
Who was in my seat before?
It's
For the
always
last
my
show.
fault. It's also short. I'm gonna.
What show? Yeah. You always make yourself look better than me. So
There.
There you go. Look at that.
Look
That's
at
better.
that. Isn't that much better?
See,
So
got to work better with the engineer here.
So now- I just bring my face closer.
Nice. Nice.
Anyway, so I wanna dive into a this is, by the way, today is gonna be therapy.
Okay.
Okay. So I, as you know, I promote a lot of shows. We do shows in different areas, but primarily we do a lot of them here.
Mhm.
And today we are going to be at the Santa Paula Theater Center
Yeah.
doing a show with magician Ron Saylor, which is a Wednesday night.
Mhm.
And it's been a really tough time to try to, get people there. A lot of people, a lot of people that we've contacted have said, oh, well, it's school night, it's, too hard. And because generally I can fill 50 people or whatever, because we know we're connected to enough people that we can personally reach out to them and say, hey, come to the show. And but there's a couple things, and I'm going to speak honestly and from my heart. And there'll probably be a lot of people that will connect with it that wouldn't feel maybe too gun shy to actually be public about it, but here it goes.
Sure.
I'm going to do it. So I feel like, so for example, the magic shop, we have a lot of magicians in the surrounding area, and they know that there's a magic shop.
Mhm.
And if this magic shop were to close, they would be the first people that would be like, oh, it's so sad, we lost another magic shop. And it's like, well, then you got to come out and you got to support it, and so it's like you said, it's the same 10 people that we see every month coming to the shop, and coming to our club or whatever. So it's like they're the first people to kind of cry that something isn't there anymore, but they're the last people to come out and actually show their support of it. And so the same thing with these shows. It's like you're almost getting on your hands and knees and you're begging people, come to the show, support it. Live entertainment is such a vital part of our community. Come on out. And a lot of people will, but they don't do it voluntarily. It's like you got to prod them to come. And so for a promoter, it gets really discouraging because I truly, honestly believe that the arts is vital to a person's development. The arts is in every aspect of our life, whether it's in promoting a product or marketing your business or, packaging, whatever it is, arts are somewhere connected to that. Building a building. So I honestly believe that. Yet in business, if you have to cut budgets, or in schools, if you have to cut budgets, it's the arts that are going to get cut. And I think we talked about this last show. And so it's the arts that are getting impacted. And we have families that have said, oh, it's a school night. Yet their kid is in basketball and they'll practice till 9:00 at night, 3 times a week, keeping them up at all hours, and then trying to figure out when they do their homework and all that kind of stuff for basketball. And so, as a promoter, you get discouraged because it's like, why am I throwing myself into this? And why am I trying to bring this out to a community if a community doesn't seem to care? Now Santa Paula, I think, is a little unique. Like Santa Paula is very embracive, not abrasive, embracive. But there's an overwhelming population that I can't cater to that is here. And I think you at one time said it was like 85% are Hispanic and farm workers. And of those 85%, maybe 50% can't even speak English well enough, if at all. Right. So there's a population, and that's on me to a degree because I don't know how to speak Spanish. But I'm in a community where there is an overwhelming population that I really can't embrace because there's that communication barrier. Now, one of the things that's really cool about the show tonight is there are going to be 10 families from the Boys and Girls Club who are going to be able to come to the show. And there are going to be 10 families from the Spirit of Santa Paula who are going to be coming to the show because of a very generous donor. And I told both organizations, I said, if I give you these tickets, it's not fair to the donor if those people don't show up. So make sure they go to people that are going to show up. And so they called every single one of them and they verified and the families are eternally grateful. Now, had I not had that connection, I would have never been able to reach those families. But these families are grateful that something like this is here. And that they're given an opportunity to be able to go, which they wouldn't have otherwise gotten. And then there are other families that are very capable and they don't get engaged. It's a weird thing.
And it's probably going on everywhere where you have the same issue. There's a smaller pool to pull from here, which we know that. But I think it's not just your show. I think it's everything in general right now. It is so hard to promote something. Trying to connect with people. We have that when we do our events too. It's the same thing. How do we find the right way to connect to people to get them to come to our events? Because as you know, it costs money to do these events. And while the events don't cost a lot, it's important that people do come in and support it to continue these events. Because you're right. What happens when it's gone? So I feel your pain. I know exactly what you're talking about. This is something that we've talked about at our conference, our chamber conference a few weeks ago, is getting people engaged again. Because, and everybody uses the pandemic as the reason, and I get it. It's still probably happening. People are still fearful of going out. But it's like finding that right connection to get them re-engaged in everything. They always talk about events. Events are a tough thing because you're trying to plan something and they buy tickets. Like today, you may get an influx of 40 tickets, but it's frustrating, right?
Oh God, the stress it puts on you.
Yeah, because you're not sure if you're going to be able to pay for this thing. It's going to cost you money or whatever.
I have to pay for Ron to come out here.
Exactly. So, and this is happening everywhere. I've noticed a lot more that events are getting canceled. They announce them and they get canceled because they're not getting ticket sales.
See, I blame COVID, but I don't blame COVID because of COVID preventing people from going out. I blame COVID for creating the isolation and the ability to not have to go out.
Yeah.
Because people don't have to go out to work anymore. Yeah. People don't have to go out to shop anymore.
Yeah.
So that's where I blame COVID.
Yeah.
Is that it's really created a disconnect.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I find really interesting is that when people come, they genuinely have a great time. So it's like, okay, you had a great time. Why am I struggling to get you to come to the next one?
Yeah.
You know?
And they're like, why haven't we done this before? But then next time around, like you said, nothing.
Yeah. Unless you
prod them. Yeah. And I think that's just a society that we've created, you know, like you said, from COVID or whatever. And just, it's that squirrel effect. You're doing one thing and all of a sudden, bam, you go to this thing, you forget about this thing. And it takes, there's a lot of things happening around you, and you've created that yourself. When I look at it, I'm busy, but yet again, I created all that busyness.
Yes.
And I don't think people understand that, where everybody says I'm busy, but it's like you're creating your own busyness. You need to make time and stop and think about what's really important to you. You know, I mean, I look at that even, I take time with my family on weekends. I make it a point to do different things, because I could have work 24 hours a day. Like, so can you, right?
Sometimes I do.
Yeah, but you got to take time and stop and enjoy things. And, the arts is one of them. Going as simple as a movie or people don't do that anymore. It's really hard to do that, and it's just the way society is. And it's frustrating on our end too.
I had I did a show for PTYA, which is Performance Theater for Young Artists. And they did Seussical this weekend, and I do I video and I do all their sound and their lighting for them during the shows. And I had one of the parents helping me. Yeah. And they had watched, the one where they sing a cappella. What was the name of that movie? They're in college and they're singing acapella.
You lost me at acapella. I'm not one for that.
They had, and I have like the actress's name. Oh my gosh, I can. It's like right there. It'll come. I would like scream it out in the middle of it. But anyways, there were 3 of these shows, and so they watched them. And the dad was like, "Oh, that's really cool. I wonder if they actually do this in real life." And he looked it up and he found that there was a competition going down in LA on the weekend, and he took the kids. And it was like, very sporadic. It was nothing planned. It was just like, oh, this, the kid, they had a great time listening to this and watching the show. And it was and they watched all 3 episodes, and he thought, how cool is this? And so, he did it. He just got up and went and said, oh, we're going to LA today and we're going to go watch this show because they're doing what we saw on the other movie. Mm-hmm. And I thought, Kendrick, Anna Kendrick or whatever. Mm. So I thought, that is really cool. Because you're being spur of the moment. Yeah. And it's like you're being in the moment.
Yeah.
And so here we go. Anna Kendrick was the star. Oh. Pitch Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. So they watched Pitch Perfect. Mm-hmm. If you haven't seen it, it is a good movie. It's not bad. Especially the first episode, first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we need, is we need people that it's like, oh, well, we got to go down to LA and we got to, got to buy tickets and then we have to find parking. And he just went and said, no, hey, let's load up. We're going to LA.
Yeah. We're
going to check out the show. And I was like, that's cool. Yeah. That's really cool. And I think, we've lost that and we've lost the saddest thing, I think, out of everything with COVID is that the shopping. Nobody is going out and shopping anymore. And there are so many great stores around here that people are missing out on. Yeah. And it's just, and these poor business owners, they're putting their blood, sweat, and tears into it. I saw a sign once that said, when you buy here, you are not buying an executive's third vacation home or sending their kids to Yale. You are putting food on a family's table. Yeah. And, and it just kind of went down this list. Yeah. And it's so true. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been promoting, small businesses for the longest time. And because we understand that it's important to do that. Because, everybody, you go to Amazon, what happens? Somebody gets a lot richer. What they said, how many millions he makes a day. Oh, yeah. And great for him. That's what he did. But when you have mom and pops that are barely getting by for the day, we got to change that narrative. Yeah. Figure it out. So a lot of it is pulling our resources together. We're taking approaches where we're getting maybe feedback from businesses. What do we need to do to help you and stuff? A lot of times they don't even know what to do. And so we've talked about that with marketing. How do we make it happen? But how do you get people engaged to change habits? It's hard. Right. You can go, Amazon, you can go on there and order something in a matter of seconds,
and sometimes it comes the next day or
the same day.
We have some things come the same day, depending on where they are.
And it's just, society has changed so much. And, for a town like ours, it's important that people get out and support not only the businesses, but the arts, the theater center here, our other museums. It's important that we continue this in our community. It's our community set up where we can do that. And we just hope that they do. Like I said, but it's frustrating to try and get people to do it. Everybody knows restaurants. They're always the ones that always get the first hits. Right. But it's everything else after that. If you're at a restaurant, say, just down the street here, say, why can't you go shop at some of the other stores that are right next to it or something? Or if you're at a shopping center here, go visit a couple other stores and just see, you never know what you're going to find,
Yeah. And fortunately, people need to eat. Yeah. Yeah. So there was a movie that Bruce Willis did, and I was trying to see if I could find the name of it, but for some reason they don't have it listed under his biography. But it was a movie about that we all had clones, drone, basically AI robots that we controlled virtually through 3D glasses and a headset. So we would communicate for it and we would tell it where to go, but it went out and did all of it for us while we were laying down.
Sit at home and
So everybody, basically became heavy and lazy because they were just sitting in a chair all day and they were living their lives. And it was all these perfect looking people. All the flaws and everything else were not put into these, artificial beings. And so the story goes on, and eventually they realize that, it's time that they got to start living their lives again. And it's so many things you see in movies and you kind of go, oh my gosh, we're getting to that point.
Yeah. These movies were years ago, and all of a sudden it's like, there's some truth to what they were talking about. Look at AI right now. What it's doing, they can replicate our voice. AI could be doing the show for all we know. Nobody would know the difference. Right. So when you put your glasses on, you could have been, definitely little robot here.
I can't.
I
can't see the computer screen when I have my glasses on.
But yeah, technology's changed our society, and it's changed how we thought, how we do things and stuff. And we got to figure out how to take a step back and just start enjoying what we have around us. It really is.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know at what point this kind of cuts off at what generation, but when we were kids, and I know everybody here, when I was a kid, when we were kids, we were outside playing all the time until the lights went on, until the street lights went on. We were outside and we were riding our bikes and we were playing and doing all that kind of stuff. Our parents didn't necessarily know every place we were at. It's just they knew that we were hanging out with this friend, and
no cell phones.
No cell phones or anything. Yep. And so there was a lot of time that I spent riding my bike or walking through the woods with friends and building forts and doing all this kind of stuff. And on the weekends, we'd be out in our backyard and be having a barbecue. And if the phone rang, it was like, let the answer machine get it. And so we would go all day long. We would go out and didn't have a phone, didn't have chat, didn't have anything. And yet we managed to exist.
Survived.
Yeah. And so somewhere along the way, and I'm not sure where that flip started to take place, is with the smartphones.
Smartphones. Yep.
So once those came out,
everybody has one.
Yeah.
And then as the technology gets better,
and you can't not pick up the phone if somebody calls you. You can't not text. I actually had someone get upset with me because they texted me 4 hours ago and I never texted them back. And they're like, hey, dude, what's up? I'm trying to reach you. And I've texted you a little while ago and you didn't answer me. And I said, I know, because I'm busy. I'm in the middle of a film project right now.
Yeah.
And so it's like, when did we become also important that
everything is important now?
Yeah.
And it's
everybody's got their 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah. It's a different world right now. We're hoping this next generation that comes up, your grandson, my grandkids and stuff, maybe we can teach them something else, not be so dependent. I mean, my grandkids, they know exactly what a phone is, and they're 1 year old.
Yeah.
My granddaughter will get it. She'll put it up to her ear. She understands that that's what you do with it.
Right.
Or the remote control. My grandson's pointing at the TV, and it's just like, you're 1 year old. How do you, how do you know that? But they see it. They understand. And we probably did that with our kids when they were younger, so I'm sure. But there's so much technology that's dumped on them right now.
The only remote we had was the one that was the clicker. It would click and it would change to the next channel. It would click and it would change to the next channel. It would click. But there are only 13 channels.
Yeah, you know what the remote was in my house?
Hey, John, go up and
change the TV, the knob, and turn it. Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And you're right, 13 channels. And half of them would go off at like 10 o'clock at night and there wouldn't be anything. There'd be that one screen.
Yeah.
It's
the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah, exactly. They do that at night and then they do it in the morning, or the Star Spangled Banner, both at the end of the night and beginning of the night, right after the news. But, it's just a different world we live in now. And it's just, there's nothing wrong with it as far as the technology, because it will progress. But it's kind of lost a little bit about who we are as humans too.
Yeah.
As far as that interaction, people got to get out more, get out and just.
People can say things on a cell phone they would never say to your face. Yeah. People engage differently on a cell phone than they would engage if they were, face to face.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing. A couple weeks ago, we had the Sip and Shop downtown.
Yes.
Downtown businesses all put it together. The chamber helped support it and stuff. There was so many people downtown walking, visiting the stores, talking to people. I saw people I hadn't seen in a long time. They're just out in the evening for a stroll. Them restaurants were busy, the stores were busy, but we started interacting and talking. We met people we hadn't never seen that. We're from Santa Paula.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, we didn't even, we just found out this was going on and stuff, because they're busy doing their lives stuff. And they're like, oh, first time we've been downtown. And they're from Santa Paula. And it's just like, they just moved here. And it's just like, so maybe those are the things we need to do to get people out more and just to have different functions out there. And it was a simple thing. There was no huge cost to it. The businesses just put a little bit of money into it, created an event where people can kind of just stroll and get together again. It seems like a little thing, but maybe there's something to that, and at that point, maybe we get them, hey, the House of Magic is having a show, there's stuff at the museums, and we just got to get people more engaged, You see, we have cruise nights, we have thousands of people that come downtown.
Right.
So people want to get out, but it's just getting to do it on a consistent basis, Back to your point,
Well, I think people, it's like sports. There are certain things that people will come out and do.
Yeah.
But then there are other things that, it just is.
Well, sports creates money.
Yeah.
And they've created the society where it's all about money with sports. I mean, even if you don't play, you can gamble on it now.
Right.
And stuff. And so there's a lot riding on that. And that gets to the people's, to make them engage better. Because like, if you got $10 on a game and you're watching the game, you're going to stay engaged in that thing, whatever. But if you're watching, I'll just say you're watching a show that you're having, what's the engagement to continue that,
Right.
You got to change the mentality a little bit for people.
Yeah.
Stop and enjoy the show. I mean, I'll give, this past weekend, we went camping, my wife and I, pouring rain, whatever, but we just did it to stop and just enjoy the moment. We got caught up. We actually did a puzzle, built a puzzle or attempted to build a puzzle, 1,000 piece puzzle. We sat there for hours just doing it.
That's awesome.
And I don't remember the last time we ever did that.
Yeah.
We had something, I think there was music playing or whatever we had in the background. So, but for the most part, we were just playing or making a puzzle, and there's some therapeutical aspects to that too.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're not thinking about anything. You're thinking about where does that piece fit? That's the only thing you're thinking about. So people have got to just stop and do different things and try different things,
We were watching a movie this last weekend, and it was basically about the journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so much of us in society are so focused on the destination.
Mm-hmm.
And the destination is basically death.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
we all have an expiration date.
Yeah.
At some point. Yeah.
Everything else is a journey.
Enjoy the journey. Yep.
And it's like, there is no destination other than the casket. And, until then, you're always on a journey.
Yeah.
But we don't look at that journey. We think this is our destination. When I get here. But here comes, and you're like, okay, I got to get here.
Yeah. When you get there, you're like, okay, I need more. So and that's, they always say that about rich people. When you hit a certain plateau, you're not satisfied. You want to get more.
Yeah.
Or even in the business world, you become a manager. No, you want to be the CEO. So you keep climbing and doing to reach until, like you said, death.
Yeah.
There's only two things: you're born and you die. Everything in between
is a journey.
Yeah. So all the things that go on in every community. You're always going to have the issues. There's always the political things. There's always that. It's crazy what's going on in society now with politics. It's only going to get crazier, but people just got to stop and just enjoy what's in front of them. Enjoy your kids, or whatever, your friends, family, whatever,
I honestly believe that there is an overwhelming population of people that just want a nice, quiet, simple life. They want to, spend time with their family, be out in the community, but it completely gets overshadowed by all of the dumb videos and the fake news and the 10% loudmouths just totally overshadow, and you start to believe that society is those 10%.
Yeah.
And you don't realize that there's a very silent 90% out there who just want to live their lives.
Yeah. Enjoy what's in front of them.
And
and a lot of them don't pay attention to social media.
Yeah.
They just do what they do every day and they're happy.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have to be the limelight and do all this. They're just happy with what they have, being content. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a different society now, and it's, you know, I'm hoping that with my grandkids, and I'm sure with your grandkids, teach them a different way of doing things.
Yeah.
You know, you still need to know the technology. You need to know how the society is moving, but you can't forget about the other things. And I think we're tending to forget about the pleasures in life as far as that stuff. You know, the little things in life now.
Right.
You know, I mean, yeah, you know, like our art museum here, they have painting classes all the time. Go try and do a painting. It's inexpensive. It's cheap. You just, you know, you never know what you're going to come, you know, do. You do, you know, maybe how you have some training, instructional classes about magic, right?
Right.
Come try that. You never know.
Yeah,
you know?
if your grandparent learn how to do some tricks for your grandkids.
Exactly. I got to learn a card trick or something. So, you know, I don't have any skills in that, but I'm going to have to do that with you one day. But there's so many things that Santa Paula provides that are simple and easy and really not cost effective. I mean, you know, it's not costly.
Prohibited.
Yeah, cost prohibited. Gather and play downtown. You know, that you go in there and do a board game. Play a board game.
$5 if you leave by 5, $8 if you leave by 8, $10 if you leave by 10.
Where can you do that?
Yeah.
Sit down and do that where you're not in your house. There's not all these distractions. You're actually just sitting there talking and playing and doing that stuff. You know, there are things in our community, just like any community, there are things out there, you know. You know, Ventura, there's bowling alley. I mean, when's the last time anybody went bowling, you know, or take a hike, you know? Like I said, we were at Steckle Park over the weekend. You're like, even though you're close to Santa Paula, you're like in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
It seems like it. And you go for a walk, enjoy the creek that's there and stuff. And there was so many people that were out there. Like, we met a family from Santa Clarita, just bought an RV, came out there, and they loved it out there. Small kids, they were just enjoying the weekend, you know, away from all the
distractions. Even though it was raining.
Kids were having a blast.
Yeah.
You know, so people just got to slow down and enjoy it, you know, and you can still support the community, you know, but get out. You know, go to a show, go to a magic show,
Well, if you're not doing anything tonight, 7:00, Santa Paula Theater Center. You get tickets at SantaPaulaTheaterCenter.org.
And how much are the tickets?
They are $25 for adults, $20 for students.
Where can you get it?
And you know what? If you can't afford that ticket, send me an email at info@thomagic.org, and I will make sure you get to go see the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see? No reason why you can't go see that.
Right.
You know? So, yeah. Well, good.
All right. So 30 seconds. What's going on?
30 seconds. We have farmers market every weekend. Another thing you can do for free.
Joshua's out there doing magic.
Rave reviews out there.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. Good. Yes. But go out there. There's a great area. You can go hang out. They have kids stuff there. It's a good 2 to 3 hours. You can go walk downtown and do your thing. So
we actually had a family come to the magic shop after being at the farmers market.
Yeah. So the farmers market is a great way to help promote other things that are going on too. So we encourage other businesses or organizations that want to come out there and promote, set up a booth out there, set up a canopy, and, you know, start marketing and promoting your stuff too that we're doing in the community too. So that's a great way to do it. I know there's plenty of other things going on around in all the other museums and activities and stuff. You know, we have cruise night coming up in April. So yeah, just go on this chamber website, SantaPaulaChamber.com. There's plenty of stuff on the calendar section. The city, spcity.org, has got a lot of great things on their site as well to talk about the community. And they have a calendar section that's got other things besides what the chamber's doing. Your site,
HeritageValleyCA.org for the Valley.
The Valley.
And THOMagic.org for the House of Magic.
Yeah. And we're going to hopefully expand the Heritage Valley stuff soon. We're trying to build on that. So yeah, look for a lot of great things coming up. And we're getting into event season. So we're hoping people will get out and do things, and we'll make it as affordable as possible for people.
Yep. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for listening in to my therapy session.
All right.
You know, if you need therapy with John, feel free to send us an email. We'll get you on the show.
Yeah. I'm cheap too.
Yeah. Maybe that's our new twist. Is therapy with John.
Sure.
Instead of Listen Up, Santa Paula.
Well, maybe once a month we'll do that. Okay.
Okay. So we'll get a monthly. Sounds good.
What do I do to my therapy though?
You don't need therapy. Yeah, well, you got it all together.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Anyway, thank you all for listening. We will see you all next week.
This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.